She didn't scream when the man collapsed. She didn't panic when blood pooled beneath the table. And she didn't wait for permission when everyone else just froze to eye in the middle of a crowded restaurant in Virginia Beach. A young woman in scrubs dropped her fork, stood up, and ran toward a man choking on his last breath. People stared. Some gasped. Most stayed in their seats. But she didn't. Her hands were already pressing against his chest. His eyes were rolling back. His lips were turning blue. The man was tall, built like a soldier, but right now, he looked like a crumpled child fighting. Death with nothing but instinct. She heard someone whisper, "He's a Navy SEAL." She didn't care who he was. She only saw someone slipping away, and she refused to let that happen. Her name was Emily Hayes. 26. Just 3 years into her nursing career. She had trained for emergencies, but she'd never been this close to death without a crash cart or a team beside her. Just tile floors, wooden tables, and silence that screamed louder than sirens. She performed CPR, compressions, mouth to mouth, again and again. The man had been shot once before, years ago, survived 5 deployments. But now he was dying in a family restaurant in front of people too stunned to move. And then he gasped. Once, twice. Breath returned. His eyes flickered open. She held her hands steady, even though hers were shaking now. The ambulance came minutes later, but it wasn't the paramedics who left the biggest mark. It was what happened the next day. Emily barely slept that night. Her scrubs were still stained. She replayed it in her mind over and over. Had she done enough? Could she have moved faster? She didn't tell anyone, not even her neighbors. But the next morning, at 6:04 a.m., someone rang her doorbell. She opened the door in her sweatshirt and slippers, expecting a delivery. Instead, standing on her porch were men in uniform. Not one, not 10, 200 rows of soldiers, SEALs, Marines, and silent warriors stood shoulder to shoulder across her lawn and into the street. Some held their hats in their hands. Some stood at attention. And at the front, the man she had saved, the SEAL, stood tall, a bandage on his neck and tears in his eyes, and one spoke for the first few seconds. Then he stepped forward and said 5 words that Emily would never forget. "You saved one of our own." Emily didn't know what to say. She blinked back tears. Her hands, the same ones that once trembled, now hung quietly at her side. The man, Chief Petty Officer Daniel Reeves, handed her a folded American flag and a plaque. It read, "For valor in the face of silence. For acting when others froze. For saving a soldier without needing to know his name." Emily had grown up in a military town. Her father served in the army. Her brother, gone too young, had worn a uniform before a roadside bomb ended everything. She had always carried that grief quietly. Maybe that's why she didn't hesitate that day, because in every wounded man, she still saw her brother. And this time, she got to save one. The press never showed up. No cameras, no headlines, only silence and respect. As the soldiers began to salute her one by one, something shifted. Emily didn't feel like just a nurse anymore. She felt seen, not because she wanted thanks, but because someone remembered. "Not all heroes wear uniforms," the SEAL said as he hugged her gently. "But you carry the same weight." And in that quiet moment, the world paused. No medals, no speeches, just 200 silent thank yous from men who had seen war and recognized courage when it stood in a hoodie on a front porch. Courage doesn't always roar, Emily would later say to a small group of nursing students. Sometimes, it's just hands doing the right thing when no one else will. And that's the story of a young nurse, a moment of panic, and a lawn full of silent gratitude. Because sometimes, the world remembers those who don't ask to be remembered. If you're still reading this, let us know where you're watching from. Have you ever witnessed a quiet act of bravery? Drop your thoughts below.